Welcome to Pastor Jerone TV. I'm your host, Pastor Jerone. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment at the end of the video. So I guess by now everybody heard of the shooting and the riots and the fires and all that stuff in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's a black guy. He was killed by the police officers. But let me tell you, before you drop the judgment and say, "Oh, here we go again," I want y'all to listen to me. Okay? It's a 29-year-old black brother. The police got a call to go over to a domestic violence, and I guess Jacob, what's his name? Jacob Blake was not supposed to be at this place. Maybe because there was a restraining order against him or something. There was something going on. And one of the witnesses, the guy that did the video, the guy that caught the footage of it, see, because the police didn't have it in their budget to have body cams. This is what happens when you start defunding the police. Well, anyway, a pedestrian filmed it. He said that he saw Jacob go into the house and then start yelling and tell the kids to get out of there, get into the car. So he had 3 kids in the car, right? The police show up. They ask him for his ID, for his information. He refused to give it. The police officer try to, I guess check him and check his pockets to see what his ID is. They started getting into a tussle. They tased him. Okay? This is where the video begins. Now he gets up from being tased, walks around the car. The police had drawn their guns and told him to stop. They're yelling commands at him. They're asking him to stop. A lot of people in the streets, black women out there yelling and asking Jacob, "Don't do it, Jacob. Don't do it." Okay? So he walked around the car, opened the door to the car where those kids are. He have three kids in the car. I think the ages is 3, 5, and 8. So he's endangering the life of the children. The police guns are drawn. He opens the door to the car and leans in and reaches for something. That's when the police officer shoots him several times. Okay? Listen, I grew up in a black community. I understand when somebody go to the trunk of their car or they go into their car after a tussle, you don't let them do that. Either you're going to leave or you're going to stay there and you're going to have a weapon yourself. Because when someone goes to their car, understand, you better be out of there or you better be prepared for what they're pulling out of there. For one, these black folks that's getting shot by these police have got to obey the police officer's orders. Why don't you listen? What do you expect? You think I'm just gonna, if I'm a police officer, do you think I'm just gonna let you go to your car after I've tased you? I've asked you for your ID, you're not obeying that command. I've asked you to stop and turn around, get on the ground. You didn't obey that. Then you go to your car. I said, don't open the door. You didn't obey that. And you reach into your car. What do you want me to do? Huh? Now, at the end of the day, I want to go home to my family. I'm not the one being stupid. I'm not the one that's making a stupid mistake. At the end of the day, it's going to be your life or mine. When you reach into your car after being tased and refuse to follow police orders, you won't show your ID. And there's a reason for that, because this dude is a felon. He's a felon. And they hired Ben Crump, the chump. Ben Crump follows cases like this. As soon as he hears of a black shooting by police officers, there he is to fan the flames of racism. It's people like him that are anti-American. Okay? He's not talking about, okay, that my client should have obeyed the police officer's directions. Okay? And then maybe from there, start questioning, maybe they shouldn't have used so much lethal force. Okay? But he goes right into police abuse and racism every time. But to me, when you watch that video, I don't know if you've seen it yet, when you watch that video, you won't say nothing about it being excessive power, abuse of power, none of that stuff. The guy should have stopped and he shouldn't have went into that car. See, a real father wouldn't have did that. You're trying to be an example to those 3 kids in the car. Follow the directions of the police officer. And most of these black people caught on film refusing to give their ID, refusing to lower the window, refusing to open the door, refusing to get out of the car, all of this stuff, refusing to put your hands behind your back, refusing to get on the ground. What do you expect them to do? See, this is why I think a lot of black people don't choose to be police officers, especially in communities like that. You're dealing with a hard-headed, rebellious, and a community of people that disrespect authority. They disrespect it. And when you disrespect authority, that authority comes down on you. Somebody said, I don't believe God. They act like they God. No, they're not God. But in Romans 13, God has given governments authority to exercise his power over people, to keep the peace. And that dude right there, his name Jacob Blake, is a violent man. Now listen, when a guy does not obey the police officer, what do you think he's gonna do just to regular civilians? Huh? You don't have no respect for the police officers who patrol your communities to keep them safe, and you show that type of disregard and disrespect to police officers? Man, this guy, he's trouble. He's trouble. And the only way you can deal with somebody like that is fill him up with that stuff. Okay, you have that power from the hip. That's just what that police officer gave him. And if you ask me, he deserved it. Why not just stop? Problem is, he didn't want to go to jail. That's what it was. He didn't want to go to jail. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right? Now, you're going to have folks get on this video right here. Talk about I'm a coon and all that kind of stuff. But they don't do this stuff when there's a black killing another black. This stuff is happening every day in Chicago. I'm talking about death. They're too blind. What is the problem with them people? They're too blind to realize this guy looking at him on film should have obeyed the police officer. But what about that innocent 5-year-old, that innocent mom walking down the street and gets shot in a drive-by? Why ain't y'all out there doing the rioting and stuff of that? You're not upset about that. No Black Lives Matter for that. And you know what? They're out there rioting over this criminal. You know what? Stand down. All the police stand down. They called the National Guard in, but I wouldn't have did it. Let them burn all the stores down. Everybody move your businesses out of there. Move away from these niggly wigs. Get away from them. Take your gas stations out of there. Take your grocery stores, your clothing stores, your furniture stores, your shoe stores. Take everything out of there and leave them to themselves. Take the police out of there too. Leave them to themselves. Let them live in their own hell, because they are irrational. They are irrational people. Leave them to themselves. Take your businesses. Listen to me. Take your businesses. Take your police. Take all your convenience, all your cars, everything, and get away from those niggly wigs. All right? That's just, hey, this is what they're proven to be. No one wants to live around them. They don't even like themselves. They hate themselves. But when a police officer with the authority of the government shoots one of them for disobeying orders and possibly putting their lives in danger, then they go crazy. But 20 of them die in a day at the hands of each other, and there's nothing. They don't deserve these conveniences, and they don't deserve police protection. Get away from them. Get away from them. Yes. Yeah, defund the police. Defund them. Hurry up and defund them and get out of there. And spare yourself the trouble. If you have been patrolling some white communities And now even Hispanic communities don't even give you this kind of trouble. If you patrol them, the chances are you will live a nice little, go to work every day, get you a cup of coffee, make a couple of calls, patrol a couple of streets, and go home at the end of the day. But when you're in these communities with these niggly wigs, no, it's too much trouble. You're going to be sued. You're going to be laid off your job. It's going to be an investigation and all. It's not even worth it. Don't do it. That's my advice. That's my advice. Go around some normal human beings. All right. Hey, if you have any questions or comments, you know, the folk that going to comment on here about me being a coon and all that kind of stuff, you don't care about black lives. See, the only thing you care about is trying to make the white man look bad. I care about black lives. And this stuff in these communities have got to stop. And that dude would have saved his life and saved himself. Well, he's not dead. He's not dead. He's in intensive care. He's in recovery. And from there, they're going to take him off to jail. They taking him to jail. He's not even in a life-threatening situation right now, but he's getting ready to go to jail as soon as he can breathe. They're going to take him with an oxygen tank and a breathing machine over to the prison. And it's a good thing. So yeah, I care about black lives. I'm black. My children are black. I come from a black family. But when there's folk like this dude here that's causing problems, no, lock them up. And fast. Understand that? All right, look. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see you on the next video.